Is it still morning? It is. I made it in the morning. Good morning, you guys. I have to tell y'all that I'm pretty sure y'all know at this point that I'm going to air this um, episode around 11 o'clock or in the 11 o'clock hour. I try to get here about 11 o'clock, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. So, y'all, please forgive me for my timeliness, but we are on CP time on the, in the ending of the world. So, please bear with me. So today we're going to have a conversation. It's kind of freestyle, but we're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement today. We want to really understand why Black Lives Matter so much all of a sudden. Okay, I want to talk about that because I think it's really notable. I think it's something that we need to talk about. Okay, y'all, we got to talk about it because there's a reason why all of it. God, let me get this camera right. It's a reason why all of a sudden people just want to start supporting Black lives all of a sudden. And for the life of me, um, I want us to see that there's always, always a reason why why the mainstream media catches on to things. Now, you have to know that. Okay, we're gonna talk about a couple things, y'all. First thing, I had a moment last week or yesterday, day before yesterday, because somebody was, was speaking the absolute truth. The, um, this person was in the comments and he had something to say, and it was talking about government conspiracies, and he was like, well, I don't want to say you know what because it's gonna make it's gonna make me sound kind of like and I was just like, dang, I, have we gotten to the point where you can't say what you want to say for the fear of being labeled as a conspiracy theorist? Come on, dog. You got to be stronger than that in who you are and what you know. I'm not even gonna say what you believe, what you know. Okay, because what you believe ain't gonna save you. What you know will save you. Now, first of all, let me say this because I have to do this on every episode, you guys. This is Entertain the Thought. My name is Reese Roberts, and I'm recording this so that we can kind of sort of have an archive of these live sessions that I do with you guys. But it's broadcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, and all of those streaming platforms. So, but I do these recordings twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. Let me get my microphone together because it keeps slipping. Okay. So, the Entertain the Thought. Go find it on Spotify. Follow it. Go to reeseroberts.com and you can find links there. If you're on Instagram, you can get the link in my bio. Blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, back to the point. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Okay, so. And yes, my friend the Rochelle Bell 99 says everybody is jumping on board, right? And I mean, it's really getting to the point, okay? Because they are just jumping on board. But there's a reason why. There's a financial reason why. There's a business reason why. First of all, the Black Lives Matter movement is owned and operated by Caucasian people. Okay, an African American person started it, but it was monetized by Caucasian people, just like everything else we do in our community is monetized and capitalized by them. Okay? Even your precious HBCUs, even our education, the culture of our knowledge, they capitalize off of it. And if you think I'm lying, go and look at the financial records of who sits on the headboards and of directors and executive people on those boards that own those companies and who's on their tax returns. On the tax return. Okay, so we have to know that the Black Lives Matter movement, along with COVID-19, along with any other headline, anything that says, "Can you donate to this?" I'm talking about the what is it? The Red South. What is it? God doggone it, Red Cancer Society, whatever it is. Y'all know what I'm talking about. all of those initiatives where you have to donate and they're pushing it on Facebook, they're pushing it on out to the masses, that's owned and operated, and trust me, it's being capitalized off of Caucasian people and people with elitist type, globalist type objectives when they have missions. Oh my God, y'all, there's so much stuff my spirit want to say. I hope I can get it all out. Yeah, the Red Cross. Thank you. I hope I can get it all out today because, listen, there's so many things about this. Golly, these people, first of all, I need us to know that as things seem to be falling apart and seem to be like, oh my God, what are we getting ready to do? Are we going to be starving? Are we going to be at war? Are we going to be, are we going to be law? Like, what's going to happen? Like, is it going to be like a zombie apocalypse? Like, everybody is like, what's really going on? First of all, you have to know that if every one of us today was to stop working, just lay our hands down and say, you know what, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to work. I'm not making your coffee. I'm not starting no computers. I'm not doing nothing. Now, if we really had a shutdown, okay, because see, you see how they have a shutdown where you can still go spend money, but you're going to be scared while you're doing it. Because if they was to absolutely shut this thing down, they would not be able to eat. They would not be able to maintain. They would not be able to get up and have a butler or have somebody to drive them or anybody to bring them a coffee or anybody to be their assistant or run their businesses or make their income for them. Because you realize that's a difference between an elite member of society and the poor and the poverty, right? Is that the elite people don't work. They call us lazy. Excuse me. They call us lazy. Yeah, I'm going to get you in a second, brother. I'm going to get you in a second. They call us lazy and turn around and live off of our energy. Literally like parasitic, parasites. They're parasites to society where you have to work in order for them to live. So if you were ever afraid of not being able to go to work, newsflash, you're always going to be able to go to work somewhere as long as you're working for them because they need you to do that. That's clearly the only way that they're able to live. So we got to get in our minds the power behind that and start making some demands, because you can't tell me that you need me, okay, but you're not going to do right by me. Now, how those two things add up? This ain't slavery no more. Well, let me not say that too. It is still slavery, clearly, because like I said, they don't work. We do the work. That's slavery. That's slavitude. Let me, hold up. I feel like I'm too low. I feel like I'm just, but that's slavitude, okay, y'all? We're not doing it like that. So we have to get ourselves to a place where, like I said, we understand our power and we understand how to position ourselves against the people who are trying to oppress us. So the reason why you see all these people now wanting to support Black lives and now all these Black Lives Matter is because the engine is failing. Okay? The engine to society is failing because Black people, quote unquote, which don't exist, we are failing. And now the planet herself is stepping in to make some changes because she ain't having it. Okay, now we children of the sun. So if we not making it, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my camera situated. But if we're not making it, then nobody's making it. Okay, y'all, we are the engine. We are the engine that maintains the entire vehicle. Okay, so if we shut down, everything shuts down. we have to make sure that we are the ones to be credited for that type of work and activity. If your engine in your car was to break down because you failed to maintain it, that's going to cost you. Okay? That's going to cost your safety. That's going to cost your well-being and your ability to go about and do what you please. But do you see the power in that? We're human beings. We do not have to sit around and say, oh, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. We're going to keep saying that. But it only matters to the extent that somebody else deems necessary. If we say it matters, it matters, it matters, and we're trying to convince them of it, it's something wrong with us. Are we trying to convince these people of something that they clearly already know? We don't know it. And we're trying to get them to understand something that we ourselves don't know. They laughing at us. We're being exploited. We're being trampled upon. They already know how much we're worth. They know how much we matter. They show us that every day. They show us that every day. They rely on us. They depend on us. They look to us for direction. They look to us for creation. They look to us for the magic that we have. We're the ones out here casting these spells, making all this stuff happen. All they do is put it in our minds and then push it to us. But then once they push it to us, then we are the ones who manifest it and bring it about in this world. Now, what's going to happen immediately when we change our minds and say, I'm not manifesting the thoughts that you put in my head anymore. I'm no longer going by your social conditioning. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you will. I'm free. I don't have to go by your standards and whatever you're putting into the media, these narratives for me to follow. Do you know how they got you right now donating to a coronavirus and donating now to Black Lives Matter, the relief funds and all these things. And some people are out there still probably donating to their churches, probably still donating to taxes, because if you're paying taxes, it is a donation because it is not required. You're donating your life away. How many of us is donating to the missions and the visions of everybody else? But when we say, are you investing in yourself? How many dollars you got for yourself? I mean, golly, it just, golly, y'all. They know how much we're worth. They know how much we're worth. We need to be the ones setting the damn price. Now, this is another thing. Oh, I cannot get it out fast enough, y'all. It's just burning its way out of me because I can't believe this type of stuff. Now, how is it that, y'all, this coronavirus stuff, I'm going to ask my friend to come on back on here in a second. But how is it that this coronavirus stuff pop out, y'all? Now, they got trillions of dollars they just pulled out their ass to pour into the economy. You don't have money for homeless. You don't have money for police reform. You don't have money for education to pay the teachers. You don't have money for better health care. You don't have money to lower taxes. Now, let me ask y'all this. Did your taxes go up when they started pouring trillions of dollars into the economy for relief? Every time a bank fails and they start pouring relief, did your normal taxes go up? No. That should let you know right there how they play games. Overnight, our reality has become a new normal because when they want to do something, if they want to do it, look at how fast they do it. Lickety split. Just like that. We have a new normal. Why can't it be a new normal that Black Lives Matter? Why can't we do that all of a sudden? How come racial injustice can't be at the snap of a damn? They can do everything else at the drop of a dime that they want to do. That'll tell you right there they don't want to do that. If they wanted to do it, it'd have been done Long time ago. Now you tell me I'm lying. That means something. That means a lot. We're wasting our time. Get out them streets playing with them damn rubber bullets and them. You asking these people to love you? Get out of there. Get out of there. That's not going to work. First of all, you need to have confidence in the fact that, like I said, you already have value. They will never allow all of society to fail. Look at what they did. Just to give you a small little inclination that the way society is run, it does not have to be that way. Easily we could change things. Coronavirus come out all of a sudden. Now nobody got to pay rent. Nobody got to pay their light bill. Nobody has to go to work. All these things happening now. Now we working from home more. All these things happening overnight. Overnight, y'all. We got companies changing the way that they do their policies and procedures. Overnight. Okay? Overnight. Now you tell me that more changes could not be made in more productive ways that society wants to see. They don't care nothing about you. Get out them streets. Because if they wanted to do that, it could have been done easily. It could have been done quickly, steadfast. How many more words do you need for me to make it clear? It's just like when, in relationships nowadays, we're trending talking about how we don't need to beg anybody for love. That goes way deeper than a relationship with your spouse. That goes as deep as a relationship with your government, with the people who are governing your society, who you support every day. You choose to support who you want to support, and in what ways. So it'll be up to you to say how you want to make sacrifices in your life so that you can divest your energy from somebody who has zero cares to give for you. And y'all know I wanted to say something else. I'm trying to clean up my act a little bit on here because I'm trying to, I don't know how marketable I am on my podcast because I like to just keep it raw. I don't even give y'all no editing or none of that. All of this is going straight from here onto the streaming. I'm not editing nothing. But these people don't care. If you out in the streets, you getting hit by rubber bullets and you risking yourself going to jail. How many people out here donating to jail funds for people who are out there idly? And I'm not, don't try to take me wrong, because I understand people wanting to stand up for what they believe in. You want to stand up for what you believe in. Okay. I'm simply suggesting a better way to do so. I'm simply suggesting another way to do so. Thank you for saying that. You said I am marketable. Thank you. But to me, I feel that we're in a very special place. And if we started to, do that Kevin Hart, say it with your chest, attack this thing from a place of power. Not from a place of, will you give me? Can I have? Will you do for me? Can you provide for me? Can you make me comfortable? Can you, be codependent with me? We don't need to do that anymore. We need not do that at all. At all. Okay? Do you hear me? Because what's happening is, we're asking, and what happens when we ask is we get pinched off. Oh, yeah, you can have some love, but you're only going to get a little sprinkle. I'm just going to do a little thing here or there to make you feel good about yourself. Okay, maybe I'll give you some flowers. But then tomorrow I'm going to be beating you again. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to be telling you that you're worthless again. I'm going to be sending you subliminal messages that tell you that you are ghetto, that tell you that you are unsightly, that tell you that you're undesirable, that tell you that you're rigid or aggressive or goddamn, what that girl called me one time? Intimidating is the word. Oh, you're intimidated, huh? Sad for you. But the point that I'm making is that this is not the way our society has to be run. It's not. Let me go ahead and invite my friend. Come on and get on here if you're still on here. I'm sorry. I just got onto a tangent, ranting. Um, and yeah, that's the thing that I want us to understand about the reason why this is more of a classist. Oh, I'm glad you made that point. My friend Kent Dope says clearly they have the big part of the cake. I'm glad you said that because the classist movement, um, it's really all about money, and we have to realize that because they want us to have a race war, okay? Because they're the real enemy. If we're looking at each other as enemies, okay, blacks and whites on the lower class level, then nobody's looking at them. They're just the ones pulling all the strings and the ones creating all the narratives, the ones putting out all those videos. Now, you tell me, how much sense do it make for all of us to keep on sharing these traumatic videos of ourselves being brutalized, victimized, and terrorized in our own communities, and we're sharing this filth amongst each other? Okay? I mean, what is it about the horror and the pain and the gore of terror that we just feel so entertained by? These are social platforms. I mean, is this the way we want to socialize ourselves? Do we not realize that there is an agenda behind these images being published? That is gruesome. Would you sit around and watch horror movies all day? I'm going to go ahead and invite my brother on. Oh. Uh-oh. It says you declined. It says you declined. Come on and come back. Um Okay, and so this is the point that I want to make with the classism and racism. Okay, those images are being shared because there is a mental programming happening behind those images. Every time you watch it, it sends a message to your subconscious mind that that is you, that that is normal, that that is something that is to be expected, that that is something that can happen to you if you get out of line, that that is something that you should fear, that that is something that you cannot avoid, that that is something that you cannot get out of, that is something that you could die from. And what does it do when you walk outside your front door? You act right. You start acting right. You start acting right. And I mean, but what I'm saying by that being entertainment, my friend Marco Dion R&B, he says, I don't think we are entertained. These social platforms, he said, these are platforms. We only have so much control. I understand that. But what I mean is that when these images are published, first of all, they have, some of these images are not even new. Some of them are coming from like 2018. I've seen one as early as 2016 out there circulating. And I just don't feel that we should be quick to share that. We know that it's happening already. We need to shift our focus to something that is going to alleviate the problem. If we see that as a threat and we see that as an issue in our community, sharing videos is not, to me, a highly productive thing to do. It could have some functionality in our community, whereas it points to awareness. Yes. But how many videos do we need for us to become aware of what the hell's going on? We don't need to, I feel like we don't need to be inundated with it, because that's what I feel is happening. And the inundation is a problem because it's causing us to have, well, get back out there, get back in your room. People can see you. But being inundated is the problem that I have, and I don't want us to get to that point where we're having to cleanse ourselves every day because we're taking in images that are traumatic to our psyche. That's something that, it's almost like when you wouldn't where you wouldn't allow your child to go through, you wouldn't allow them to watch certain things before they, dang, are y'all still on here? Uh oh. My bad, y'all. I'm having issues. Dang. I got. I mean, I'm saying, I'm like, dang, what's going on? I ain't never had this many camera issues in one day. What's up? How you doing this morning? Oh, this afternoon. Ain't nothing much.
I was sitting here listening to you. You was dropping shit. You was dropping hella shit. And it's funny.
Mm.
As soon as I try to go live, it unsigned me off the whole goddamn page. And it asked
See,
me for
see,
verification.
something trying to come and stand in our way. We ain't gonna let it happen.
Yeah, yeah, you already know. A lot of stuff you mentioned a lot of good shit. One thing that's on my mind at the very moment you mentioned the classes system.
Mm.
Now, I personally feel this way based off really, really looking at our history minus emotional shit.
Mm-hmm. Real talk. That's what we
The
need to do.
issue we keep running back and forth into with these folks. The original point of the Black Power movement and civil rights and all this shit, our citizenship is constantly being challenged. It's
Absolutely.
constantly being treated as if it's not commensurate to the other citizens in this country.
Okay, we're gonna bring that out. We're gonna feel that. We're gonna iron that out on this talk.
You got amendments. You got amendments that's been amended. You got ratifications that's been ratified. You
Mm-hmm.
got bills that's been put into play.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no fucking laws left to be added to this shit.
I agree.
If they just follow the law that they created, you don't need a civil rights bill.
Agree.
So I've been looking at different language trying to figure out what best to indicate to them what the fuck's gonna happen.
You said what will indicate to them?
Yes,
Okay.
what's gonna happen? Yes, indicate to them what the fuck's gonna happen is because the wording, it really don't need to be for us. It really don't need to be for us.
Okay. Let me. Okay, I'm gonna give you my perspective from what I've learned about law in this country and really throughout the world, wherever you've seen a Europeanized democracy set up, or anywhere you've seen colonization set up. Um, when oh Lord, the color of law, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what we operate on right now is
Good book. If
is
anybody ever, if you ain't never heard of it, you should probably get it. Look it up. Good book, The Color of Money.
okay. Okay. Let me talk about the color of law. Um, the color of law is the basis of the reason why we have race. Okay, it introduces the concept or the social construct of race. And so when we get into legal terms about like the Constitution itself says that any law that's enacted or passed that is in contradiction to the Constitution, it is invalid and you can enforce your constitutional rights. And I say you can enforce your rights. Just like they out here enforcing their rights and enforcing their laws with law enforcement, we have the same right. They have no more right to enforce law than we do. Because constitutional law takes precedence over any other form of lesser law because there is lesser law. That's the reason why you have a hierarchy of court systems in their iteration of law. Because in our iteration of law, we went by contract law. Okay, in our ancient form of governing, our societies went off of contract law. Now, that's something that is being reintroduced because the American system is on a system of commerce where whereas things, commodities and information, it all moves in commerce, meaning that Everything we do has a currency attached to it. Now, we have put an intermediary called a fiat money. Okay, money is an intermediary for your currency exchange. When you're exchanging currency naturally, you're doing what we're doing every single day: working, talking, thinking, having ideas, exchanging ideas, creating things, moving things. We're doing these things all day long, exchanging our energy with each other. But because now that we have entered into a system of commerce, we have to introduce a finance system to account for the energy that's being exchanged, put a value on the energy that's being exchanged. So when I say it's only worth $5 for you to hand me a cup of coffee, because I done did the numbers and I worked it down to, you can hand me a cup of coffee and work in this building and have these supplies and these materials and these things, and I'm going to pay you a certain amount of money, and this is the value of this currency exchange. So at $5 a day, I can afford to pay you. I mean, yeah, if this many people come to this place and buy coffee every day, and this is how much the coffee costs, then I can afford to pay you this much money, and I can afford to put you in a building to work in this building, and I can afford to keep this much to myself. That's all just a value system being placed on these things. So they introduced the color of law and says that now people of color, okay, because any free natural person can exchange currency to the greatest extent of their ability, right? Any person who exchanges currency can put their own value and say, what I produce is worth this much money. If you're an entrepreneur, you can say, look, I made this and it's worth $1,000. And I'm going to tell you why it's worth $1,000. I'm going to convince you that it's worth $1,000, and you're going to pay me $1,000 for this that I'm giving you. But when you work for them, they're going to tell you that's worth $5. And I'm giving you $5. That's all you're getting. Okay? So people under the color of law are now being subject to the consequences of not knowing that, so to speak. When you're a colored person, you don't know that you have the ability to naturally set the value of your own currency. You have the ability to naturally communicate the value of your own currency. You don't need somebody to work for to do that. And see, they have been building an entire society on that ignorance. And they call us colored because we don't know that the only thing that is different about us and them is that we don't know that we have our own power to say, I'm not a color, I'm a human being. And let me tell you something. Exactly. Self-sufficiency. I'm not a color. I'm a human being. I have a nationality. I'm not black. Just like you're not white. You're European. I'm not black. I'm Moorish. I'm indigenous. I'm a Native American. I'm whatever I am, whatever my blood says that I am. So when I come into my right knowledge, knowing that I'm not these colors, I'm not all these colors. I'm a human being, just like they wouldn't. If you go to Africa and call somebody black, they might know what you mean, but they're gonna be like, brother, I'm from Nigeria. I'm Nigerian. I'm Ghanaian. I'm Libyan. I'm Egyptian. I mean, I know where I'm from. You can't call me black, because they understand what that means. There's a value to their currency. There's a value to the way that they own their identity and their culture. We have to understand that this is what these people have taken away from us. They've taken that away from us and put a color on it so that they can capitalize on that ignorance. And there's one more point that I'm going to make. These people are doing this, like I said, in commerce. Every exchange that they do with us to take away our freedom, they're doing it in business, and they're doing that economically. The U.S. is an incorporated corporation. It's a corporate body, just like Target, just like Walmart, just like the company you work for. It's a corporation. And we all work for this corporation. We all donate to them. Just like when your company come out and say, oh, we getting ready to go and walk at the Red Cross. Y'all go give some money for this cause. And y'all, we getting ready to have a potluck. You know, y'all donate to the potluck. We're doing that to the federal government. We're working for them and we're donating money to them through taxes because what they understand and the reason they don't pay taxes is because they know that they are able to set the value of their own currency. They start businesses and they write off all their taxes because that's the natural way to live. The natural way to live is to set the value of your own currency, start a business, communicate the value of your own currency, okay? And then you create a business and you set your value and you determine how big or small you're going to be. You don't have a ceiling on you when you're setting your own value. So, in our minds, once we industrialize ourselves, create our own institutions, our own businesses, our own opportunities, not looking at it from what they can provide for us, but looking at it from a perspective of I'm going to set the own value, my own value of my own currency, okay? And eventually, listen, they will be the ones working for us because, like I said, we are the engine. They will have to be the ones coming to our organizations for their jobs and for their favor and their opportunities. Because, baby, listen, they don't have the, if we stop doing it for them, they don't have the power and the ability and the magic and the intelligence and the ingenuity and come on, they don't have all that to do it for themselves, which is the reason why they built their system on our backs, because they knew we was powerful enough to keep ourselves going and them too. And look at how nicely we're keeping them. Look at how nicely they're being kept. We got the power to do that for ourselves. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
Absolutely. The first thing I want to say, I agree with everything you said. Going back to what I was saying, when you look at the classism thing, I feel like it's important for us to constantly be disabusing ourselves. It's not one thing going on here. It wasn't one thing that got us in this situation. White supremacy used multiple tools at one time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, a layering of systems.
E. Franklin Frazier mentioned um, the being black is always being aware of Frederick Douglass mentions that having to be black within the white society, the double-mindedness.
Mm-hmm.
The two things going on. Um, and so there's the fight from the position of being a serfdom, because that's what this shit is built off of. The people who came here, the pilgrims, had serfdom, the mind of always being able to benefit off of a serfdom. That's what they knew of.
Mm-hmm.
So the bum ass white people and the uh, enslaved, they share the classism issue.
Mm-hmm.
But the white thing is always a factor for
Mm-hmm.
us.
Oh yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it, we lose. It's like that's how they fuck you over when they get you to thinking, oh, we ain't got to worry about this color thing though, because as
Oh
far as
yeah.
they concerned,
Mm-hmm.
the bum ass white people was the motherfucking the ones doing the majority of the slave driving. The
Mm-hmm.
bum ass white people was the ones working the field, and the coon niggas was the ones that was the actual slave drivers, the ones that was, you know,
I mean, well,
getting out the car,
historically, Caucasian
selling.
people started off as the slaves. Historically,
Well,
they were the ones that were servants in our society. When we first encountered them, they had to be made servants because they didn't have any intellectual property. They were they were barbaric. And that's I posted a video this morning where the mother was speaking and she was talking about how she said we're done with this barbary. We're done with this barbary. This is barbaric. It's barbaric the way that these people operate. And so when we first encountered them, before we gave them their Greek Renaissance, by teaching them and bringing them enlightenment, they ended up. I mean, they were the servants before. Well, I should say, in their coming of age to story and the birthing of their culture, the birthing of their kind.
okay,
Um,
okay,
you
yeah,
know, at their inception, they were servants.
absolutely. The one of the main prime intellectuals that they always touting, Isaac Newton, was serving at the feet
Any
of the priest.
yeah,
And
any Greek philosopher, any Greek intellect, anything is a copycat from one of our ancestors. They got
absolutely.
all of their knowledge from us. There is no such thing as a Greek philosopher, or to me, no. You may have. I mean, well, maybe not. I shouldn't say that. Maybe some of their work could be original, but it's all inspired by something they learned from us. I'll put it that way.
Absolutely. So when it comes down to poor, either to being poor or being rich, I always think about it take a whole system
Mm-hmm.
to get what they do done. It's not about the poor ones or the white or the rich ones. It take a whole system to get what they did done. They
Well,
do done.
I agree with you. It takes an entire system, but it does not take their entire system.
No, 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 no.
Anybody could create a system that works
No. I'm just saying
as long as
it
they're
took
good at
the
engineering.
collaboration of the poor whites backed by the rich whites to get us in this situation that we in. So classism for us,
Mm-hmm.
that's a, you know what I'm saying. That's one issue. But when that includes the niggas that's up there with them as well. So that's a whole different thing. But for us, we got to always be aware of the race thing. That's never a non thing. Just a thing.
Okay, so you're saying we don't never have to not think about race. Okay, but in reality, how should I say this? Socially, that is true. In reality, not really. If you're thinking about how we are evolving, um, we don't have to worry about race at all if we ignore it. Just like you block your ex when he done started acting crazy or she done started flipping out, you block that person, ignore them, act like they don't exist anymore. Huh. If we were to do that to Caucasian people, y'all, if we were to just disown everything that's Caucasian, first of all, I know that would take a minute for us to be able to do that because we are dependent on them. Okay? They're dependent on us as much as we are dependent on them. So what we have to do is man the hell up and become independent, okay? Just like any woman that's being battered by her man or being, raped or whatever, any man that's being used by a woman. You have to get some balls about yourself and say, listen, this thing that you're doing for me is not worth what you're doing to me, okay? What you're doing for me is not worth what you're doing to me. Do you understand? We have to get that alignment. Excuse me, because we have a responsibility not just to ourselves, but to the rest of humanity. Do you know this entire planet could fail if we choose not to see the truth for what it is? The entire cosmos. We are the cosmos. So if we fail, what is left? Nothing or no one succeeds without us. We are it. If our energy dies, nobody lives. If our energy dies, nobody's here. The only thing that keeps this thing going is melanin. Now, you got other melanated cultures that might be able to get it for a while. But, come on now. We the most powerful on the planet at this point. The melanin. As long as we got melanin in this planet, yeah. But, nah.
You know what I was thinking about the other day? Without our complete compliance, how the fuck they gonna get the earth back running? For real, for real.
They're not trying to get no earth run. They're trying to get it destroyed. They're trying to destroy this thing.
Your entertainment, your best sports ain't gonna be shit. None of the shit that you gonna use to try to make people go back to normal is gonna fucking work. You gonna throw a bunch of money in, and it ain't gonna what you gonna throw down ain't gonna come back. It ain't gonna bounce back right. Period. What the fuck? Without our compliance, definitely gonna be working like that.
I agree with this. My friend on Instagram says, I mean, this is almost period underscore not quite. I try to say y'all name just in case anybody want to check y'all out. It started off with bartering and now we are here, and that's absolutely right. Natural systems of currency exchange is bartering. Okay. Like I said, money is an intermediary, which means it stands in between something unnecessarily. It means you put it in the middle where it don't have to be there. You could just do an energy exchange. You don't have to have money to account for the exchange. People are not stupid. They know what's worth what. You don't need money to determine that. So that's basically it. The global black girls talking about the black boule. I'm not sure. I'm trying to read some of these comments, y'all. The system of white supremacy is global and informs other people of color to participate in anti-black behavior. Ignoring it won't make it go away. It doesn't exist because we participate. It's bigger than that. I I mean, I feel like I can feel where you're coming from. That it's not because we participate in it, because Caucasians are naturally void of any consciousness, and so it is, it is something to say, if you just ignore them, they'll go away. I'm not suggesting that will go away. What I was making reference to was our issue with us contributing to their systemic treatment of us. If we were to ignore them as if they did not exist and walk away from their systems, then we would not have to depend on them and deal with them as much. We would be able to do for ourselves and provide for ourselves. And that's really what we were talking about. So with them hating us, I mean, clearly that's not going to go anywhere, sis. They forever going to hate us. They're forever going to be mad that they're not us. They want to be us. That's why they hate us so much, but they have to still be involved with us, because without us, there's no them. So again, if we were to just ignore them, knowing that they need us, it would completely change and shift the current paradigm that we're looking at it from.
It would take for us to really, which the thing, my response to what she said is the truth about a lot of this shit boils down to the fact that we have to accept the truth.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of y'all that still want to be friends with Emily and Ben. You think that at some point you'll be able to go back out with Allie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of it right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Being aware of who they really are.
Well, people
being conscious, like a lot of you niggas don't even want to be conscious for real.
People, I mean, oh my God. I'm telling you, when that person said, "Oh, I don't want to be seen as no conspiracy theorist," but he was speaking all the way facts, I'm like, bruh, you don't want to be smart? Like, what if you speaking the truth and being smart makes you a conspiracy theorist, then what the fuck? I mean, so what? I was like, what is wrong with you?
So it's too many niggas still on the internet who are tangibly receiving knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
that are still devoid the common awareness that people on the street,
Mm-hmm.
people in the projects know. Period. Niggas on the internet let TV, which majority of us supposed to not be watching. You had TV when we said, "Oh, we don't get sick off shit like that." We started off like that.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all let TV say, "Oh yes, you do,"
Mm-hmm.
and niggas started getting sick.
Mm-hmm. Automatically.
So it's a lot about what the fuck we on still.
Yeah, to me, I don't understand how we don't see those things. How don't we see that? How is it that when the thing first came out, they say we not susceptible? 2 minutes later, now we get the highest cases in the... I'm like, come on, what?
we was bold enough to say, when we was bold and was like, "Oh no, we don't get no shit like that."
Mm-hmm.
We was good.
dancing around, making memes, videos, everything. Proud. Oh, we got the
Good.
strongest immune systems. We black. Our melanin strong. We do this and that. Next thing you know, they say, well, now black people got the highest cases. We walking around here. I got the coronavirus. I got the virus. But
Niggas in the house 4-5 weeks straight.
come
You
on.
let these niggas
I
tell
don't want
you
to
that
go
ain't no
nowhere. They got the
brand.
virus. Make me some masks. They got the virus. Oh shit. It makes me want to pull my hair out.
What is that shit?
It's like what's going on? Y'all don't see that you like it's. I read a book and I think I've said this on this podcast before. We were reading a book by one of the Greek philosophers, Saint Thomas Aquinas. I went to an all pretty much predominantly Caucasian liberal arts university for a couple of years, and they had us doing a class that was basically a philosophy class. So the theory that this guy was building on, St. Thomas Aquinas, he was saying that people are like blades of grass. He said a lot of times if you know how to blow the wind right, then they will sway whichever way you blow them. And it speaks a lot to the way I see society right now. Even though we're being exploited, we're also gullible. And it, to me, means that we need to stop lying to ourselves with this cognitive dissonance type of situation we got going on. We really have to start getting that under control. Wanting to believe that these people have some kind of goodwill towards men, especially us, and wanting to convince them and wanting to have their favor and their attention and their approval and and their valuation of us. For us to be so interested in that, thinking that it's going to benefit us some kind of way, it makes me feel like we're still under that spell. Okay, we're under that spell, that cognitive dissonance, where our subconscious mind is either not picking up or refusing to pick up on the messages that somebody hates you. And they're not gonna love you because they hate you.
I say this shit from the motherfucking plantation is still whooping niggas ass.
It's taking us out.
Straight up and down what it is.
It's taking us out.
White folks still operating off the conscious killing act like that shit ain't never got stopped. They don't give a fuck, so they consciously kill your shit. That nigga sat on homeboy fucking head and stared into the fucking camera.
Listen to me, brother. I'm gonna tell you another. I'm gonna tell you the reason. I'm not even gonna say that this is one of the reasons or any other reason why they are slaughtering us in the streets, and it's taking so much to bring some sense of justice. Under the color of law, if you profess and claim and write down and subscribe to the idea that you're black under the color of law, you're dead already. Your life is not being counted as a life. All that 3/5 of a man, all that stuff, they did not upgrade us to a full man. They downgraded us to dead. And what is called in maritime law is called being dead at sea. Okay? The concept is very convoluted. Okay? It's very convoluted. I would try to explain it to you, but I'm going to ask you to research it. It's called maritime law. Okay? The difference between maritime law, commerce, maritime law. What am I trying to say? It's one more. I can't bring it to mind. Maritime law, contract law. Sometimes people might call it sovereign law. There's different classifications of law. Sharice, law of the land. Maritime law.
I was gonna say torts too. I just kept them.
Okay, yes, another one. That's another one. Different categories. Tort is another one. The law has different categories of it that sometimes function in ways that are similar. So what happened was, these people come in. We were using the natural law of the land, which is what we were talking about earlier, bartering, exchanging currency naturally through a bartering system where I give something of value that is of value to you and you do the same. This is the reason why in a natural collective society, the idea is to give, okay? Plain and simple. As an individual, your idea is to give. Because the more you give and the more everybody around you gives, the more everybody in that collective has the opportunity to receive. So if we all just empty our pockets and just put it all out there, think about how much of us could then draw back from that pot if we all did that. Okay, and I'm talking about not just money and physical things, but I'm talking about our ideas. I'm talking about our connections, our resources. I'm talking about everything. Just empty out your pockets, empty out your knowledge, empty out your contacts and your connections, empty out your energy into one centralized location so that we all can see what we have and then start creating from there. Okay, but this is what a natural system looks like. What they introduced to our functioning or our operating system, so to speak, is what's called maritime law, which is the law of the sea. That's the law of the waters. So what they have basically done is they have come up and collected up, stolen all of our land and said, we're going to issue you these basically these trust funds or these trust accounts where the value of this land is going to be in these trusts. Only a person who is a national can be in control of these trusts. Only a person who is aware of the law of the land and the law of commerce, okay, or the law of the sea. You have to be aware of these things in connection. Only this person can control these types of accounts in which your land is now being held. Okay, so in a very, very layman's term story, I'm gonna tell you how they did this. They came in, stole our land, issued out these things that said, okay, now this is how the land is owned. So we can own it, or anybody can own it. You can sell it. It can be bought. It can be purchased. It can be this, that, or the other. But the value of it is going to be held in this particular type of holding or an account or whatever. So then they introduced these laws that, first of all, you have to know that putting laws in place on a land that you just stole, okay, it makes all of those laws null and void. You just completely nullified everything that you said. So when they come in and say, another thing I need us to research, y'all, is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Because when they did this land that we're on was called Morocco, or Al Morocco, which is where the name America came from. Al Morocco and America are close derivatives of one another. So Morocco is what we used to be under. The Moroccan flag, it still flies in the UN. When the U.S. is doing business, they fly the U.S. flag right next to the Moroccan flag. Right next to it. Now, if you go up and look at presidential addresses, you will see the Moroccan flag standing right next to the American flag, but you will also see the gold fringe that goes around it, which is an indication that this is a nation that operates in commerce under maritime law. The gold fringe is an indicator of maritime law. So when you go back and look at that, it indicates to you that these people have taken us off of our land and they've done what's called they've put us out to sea. So under the law, the very basis of what they're doing is saying that we have abandoned our land, that it's not that we don't own it, not because they stole it, but because we abandoned it and we're lost at sea. Because in maritime law, we would have to be in commerce, but black people are not in commerce. We don't exchange our currency like everybody else does in the global market. We work for white people. So we don't have anything to say that we own in commerce. So we're not in commerce. We're missing from the global market because they've said that we abandon our property, that we've abandoned our ability to be in commerce and exchange our energy. So now we sitting around looking like, well, we don't have nothing. We ain't got nothing to be in commerce. We work for them. But that's not true. They took what was ours and now they just masquerading as the ones who own it and operate it. But the Treaty of Peace and Friendship was supposed to be for all of us to be in commerce together. They were supposed to allow black people to enter the game, which is the reason why Tulsa, Oklahoma was burnt down, because they started to figure out that it was about commerce. And because it didn't have security, they were destroyed, because that was the real thing that they never wanted us to get involved in, was commerce. Okay? I'm about to time out, so I'm gonna have to come back on Instagram, y'all. Facebook, we still running. So y'all, let me come back in 2 seconds, and you come back too. Hmm. I'm not done yet. I'm sorry, Facebook. Y'all hang in there. I'm about to go back live on Instagram. Instagram be hating. They don't want me to download my video, but that's okay because I'm gonna get it off Facebook. Boop. Anyway, um, okay, yeah, we're gonna finish talking about this because it's extremely important. We just have to talk about it. We just have to talk about it. I'm gonna wait for y'all to come on back. Come on back, Instagram. Come on back to me because we breaking it down, y'all. Y'all need to get this. You need to get it. You need to get it. You need to get it. Y'all come on back. Hey, come on. You need to get it. Come on back and get it. You need to get it. Come on back because we're getting ready to break it down, y'all. We're getting ready to break it down. Y'all come on back. Y'all come on back. Okay, I got a couple people. Thank you to my one faithful person who is hanging in there with me on, on Facebook. You stay, hang on, we coming. Okay, I got my partner back. I got my partner back, so we back. I might actually have to edit that part when I before I upload my video because I know how to. But anyway, he's back. All right. Thank you for coming back. So the point that I'm trying to make is that we have been duped. Okay, these people have given us titles that take away our national claim to our land. Okay, the reason why we're colored is because if they were to call us a nationality, then they would have to give us our nation. They would have to acknowledge the fact that we have a nation, that we have a right to be on the global market as an entity, as a nation. The global market is just like any other nation that does business or does deals and goes into, talks and all these other stuff. Why don't we ever see our faces on the global stage? On the global stage, you'll never see a black person because we are not in commerce. We are not in business. And that is our problem. We are not in business for ourselves. We're not global entrepreneurs like everybody else. Everybody else has their own industries. Everybody else has their own land. Everybody else has their own stuff. Now, of course, everybody else didn't have their shit taken from them, hijacked. But this is something that we now have to be responsible for because they didn't just steal our land. They stole it and didn't go no damn where. They stole it because they took us up here. So now what we have to do is come back up here. When we talking about going home and returning back to nature and all that stuff, we got to get this back. We need our minds back, baby, because they took it from up here first before they ever got us physically. Huh?
Very true though. A lot of these motherfuckers got killed. That dirty white motherfucker inside you that be talking shit all the time.
Oh yeah.
What about white black on black crime?
Oh shit.
Right there.
We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. No, we're not gonna do that. What we're gonna do?
Like Harriet would have.
Yeah, I need for us to understand that this, like I said, the global community is missing our faces because we have been missing what it means to be a human and have human value and have the ability to communicate that value. And that's the reason, that's basically the way I put entrepreneurship. I'm a human being. I have a value and I'm going to communicate that value. And that's how I'm going to maintain my life. I'm going to work for myself. And on an individual level, that's it. On a global level, that's what it needs to be for all of us. We work for ourselves. And if we choose to go into business with each other, if we choose to create our own industries, if we choose to partner with each other, if we choose to buy each other's businesses, if we choose to merge and do those things that they're doing, because I want you to understand the structure of the American company, the American corporate structure that they're operating from, the operating structure is conglomerate. What they do is team up with each other. They unionize. And I want you to know that when they say the State of the Union address, the State of the Union address is talking to the corporate owners. The union. If they were talking to the State of the Union, we're citizens. So they're not talking to us. The State of the Union address is talking about the corporate leaders of society. They're telling you what's going on with their corporate body. They're having they're basically their corporate meeting. And we're just all spectators in the big ass WebEx meeting or the big Zoom meeting that they're having. Because when the president of the company comes out, Trump, used to be Obama, used to be Bush, used to be whoever, they have these bylaws that say every 4 years we have to have a new president. And this is how corporate bodies function. In business and commerce, you have to have a corporate structure that says this is how this entity works on the global market. This entity is for the purpose of this, that, or the other. This is the mission. This is the vision. This is how many shares is going to be on the market, or how many people is going to be employed. Is it equal opportunity? But I need you to understand this. Just because the corporate entity is set up for the public service does not mean that it is not privately owned. It is privately owned, publicly operated, and offered to the public. We think that we have rights over public corporations because they letting us come in and give them our money. They're putting themselves in a position to be an intermediary. Again, an intermediary is an entity that is not needed. You're standing in the middle for no reason. We go to them because they've placed themselves in the middle as intermediaries, making us believe that they are necessary when they are not. So our business, our main order of business is recognizing that they are not necessary.
Hold on, let me ask a question. Are you saying to me that I don't need McDonald's
Come on.
to get a motherfucking burger, some fries, and a drink for under $5? That's what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do it yourself, you can do that. You can make more of that than $5.
Oh.
If you're serious about it. I mean, but our people, we're so innovative.
I just wanted to bust that down. You know what I'm saying, real quick, because you said a whole lot. And I would want to bust that down on the simple side, just to say what she's saying is.
Yes, but and I did say that it's going to be a little convoluted because these Caucasians are very, very much tricky in the way that they have been able to execute these things and make it convincible. Because what you have to do to it's marketing, but what you have to do in order to understand these things is you really have to go down a rabbit hole. Okay, because they've put the truth so far deep down into those law books, into those manuscripts, and those volumes and volumes of section after section of this and that, book after book, because they know if they put all these, and then they also use legalese, which is a language that is only used in legal context. Okay, so if you are any person of regular intelligence, you're not gonna understand what they're talking about. You're not all this therefore, notwithstanding, and exactly. They're talking in ancient, antiquated language. So much so that there had to be a law passed that said that I think it was the Paperwork Reduction Act, that talked about how contracts by law have to be written in more plain English and with less papers. Like, how you gonna have somebody sign a contract? They got to spend a whole year to read it. It don't make sense. And it's because the intention is for that to be the case. The intention is for you to enter into contracts blindly because, again, what they understand is that we are naturally operating off of contract law. And this is very special because under contract, first of all, contract law never goes away. The universe has us under contract law universally. That is a law of the universe. We enter into contracts with the universe every single day. When you wake up and you tell the universe, this is the experience that I want to have, that's a contract. And you tell the universe what kind of experience you want to have by the thoughts you think. Okay? Every thought that you think is a contract with the universe, because that thought is a request for an experience. And the universe is contracted with you to give you that experience. So every single day, we operate on contract law. That's a natural thing. It goes through and through from top to bottom, from your spirit man all the way to your physical man. Contract law, it applies. So every day, what these Caucasians do is they have learned how to create contracts with hidden terms and terms that are out of context. Okay, they're creating contracts that you would never know exist. Like, for example, when you go and you filling out an application, okay, you go fill out an application, it gives you all of these things, and you're just applying for something that's supposed to be free or it's supposed to be a benefit to you. It's your food stamps, it's your social security check, it's all this stuff. You're filling out this application, and when you sign on that dotted line, your signature has just been placed on a contract. Your application is a contract. Do you know that? It's a hidden term that you would never know, because they're not going to tell you that the reason why you don't have to pay for it is because when you sign on a dotted line, they're getting ready to go draw that right out of Social Security. And they're going to get more money off of you than you ever will get off of yourself. Because you're signing these things and having no idea what you're contracting to. Because they don't tell you. And they know damn well you're not about to go read about it. They know you don't know where to start. If you wanted to go and read about it, you wouldn't even know where to start. But the thing is that it is out there. I don't know it by way of osmosis. I know it because I was able to find somebody who read it and then showed it to me where I could read it myself. But the thing about it is that the masses of us don't know that. And if you get somebody like me and a handful of my friends who are aware of these things to tell you that, are you going to believe it? Are you going to think that we're conspiracy theorists and we're just telling you this because we're just wacky, kooky people? I mean, that we just pull, like I said, pulling stuff out our ass?
A white man to sit there and say,
thank you. And a white man will tell you that. David Icke is one of them. He's a sovereign nationalist. He's one that goes around and he tries to tell Caucasian people that they're not white and that they don't have to live on the system and work for elite members of society. He tries to educate his people. He tried to educate a lot of people about what's really going on. I learned a lot from David Icke about the difference between maritime law, the law of the land, commerce, and contract law. Okay? These things have they have functionality in society. But we don't know. And so it causes, but like I said, when we start to go out and speak to people about these things, talk to people about these things, they looking at my big lips and my big nose and my big old brown eyes like, this girl knows what she's talking about. Where'd she get that from? She sounds stupid.
and what's your number?
I mean, then they want to start knowing, well, what do you do? How did you graduate from college? Did you do this? Do you have that? Do you blah, blah, blah? You don't even know nothing. You ain't got no degree. I mean, it happens. We tear each other down instead of just...
What's your OnlyFans?
Okay, exactly. It's a crab in a bucket mentality that plagues our society because we don't even respect the fact that we are the originators of knowledge. Do you know that we create knowledge? Okay, we create knowledge. When we explore ourselves and we have discovered pieces of ourselves that we didn't know, and then we share that is a creation of knowledge. Nobody knew that existed somewhere in the universe before you shared it. Before you gave your experience, before you gave your perspective, nobody knew that. Somebody may have known the facts or the data that you're talking about, but nobody knew how you saw it. That's knowledge. And it has value. It's intellectual property. And it has a value.
To back up what you just said in a really simple way, is a woman's menstrual, that's been forever?
No.
Has it been in collective society?
You said what is about collective society?
Has it been going on as long as a collective society?
The menstrual cycle? I wouldn't be able to put a time on it like that. To put it in reference to something else on the timeline.
So
Um,
what I'm trying to say is it has to occur, and when it occurs, I'm trying to think what was more pertinent of a thing to learn or be able to count or identify. I'll be trying to think like what outside of that would be something that would be what would come what would have came before that because it has to be either okay when it comes to these subjects like somebody had to before they was like okay we're gonna do it on an academic level it had to be natural occurrences that was a that brought it into need so that's
totally.
what made me think like that's what made me question it like that. Like, because I would assume the black woman had to be the first like real mathematician. I would have to assume, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
for you to keep up with that and have that in your mind, because you probably wouldn't, necessarily write it down on top. So you probably had that in your mind for a couple.
I'm not understanding where you get the menstrual cycle from, though. What does the menstrual cycle have to do with it?
Because you got it, because you counted.
I'm not following.
You keep up. You already know what when the day. How you know what day it is.
Right, but our conversation was just talking about corporations and stuff, so I don't know where the menstrual cycle came in at.
Well, it was going somewhere, but I was it was never mind. It was going somewhere because you was mentioning knowledge and
Yeah.
us being aware of the fact of us not being in this place of inferiority when you
Uh-huh.
talk to these people. What make that feeling come is the fact that these people stand with institutions behind them.
Mm-hmm.
But yourself, you and what you know is more or less stronger what the fuck they them and they whole institution stand for. Like, and that's what I was trying to get to was that
Mm-hmm.
it that you already it's basically what you were saying attaching to what you was already saying is basically the fact that you already they're trying to bring something to you that you already what I'm saying you already figured out.
Right.
You,
Yes. Well, I feel like there's this there is a need for us to really get to that point where we know what we know and stop believing everything because what I know is that if even if I did go and tell the truth to a lot of people and I mean maybe they would believe me maybe not but I don't know how many people would actually go and find for themselves so that they could actually know what I'm talking about because and this is another thing like I said uh, we get tricked a lot, you know, and it says my people perish for a lack of knowledge, and I mean that's just the truest statement because the things that we don't know right now is really killing us. It's really killing us, and
well,
so you know, if we did have a knowing of our natural man, our natural value, our natural abilities, um, like I mean it just starts with your everyday life. I would say if any person doesn't feel like they live free you need to try it. Okay, you need to start going against the grain. You need to start not fitting into society in whatever way you possibly can because and do it in a safe way but express yourself. If something don't make sense to you you need to make sense of it before you just go along with it and agree with it. I would never be in a place where something don't make sense to me and I'm just going to start doing it instead of questioning it. Okay? Some people look at that as being difficult or being controlling or whatever. I'm questioning the situation because I don't just go along with whatever. If it just because it made sense when okay, somebody could tell you that um this thing was made a certain way. They could say, "Oh yeah, I made this like that. I put it into a mold and it just came out working like that." But you would have to investigate that, right? because this looked like something you could put in a mold and it'll come out like this. But could you really make this entire thing by just putting it in a mold and it just comes out functioning like this? This thing has multiple pieces, multiple things. You would have to go through this and actually investigate it, pull it apart, look at the pieces of it to say, nah, you didn't make that out no mold. You made that some other kind of way. I'm looking at it. That ain't, you didn't do it that way. And so, this is the thing that I would like for us to start seeing. And my friend Ray made a very good point. She said, when these people get out here, and I should say when we start talking to each other and sharing knowledge, like Dr. Sebi or like whoever in the Black community or the African American community or the indigenous community, the Moorish community, we question each other down. We got to have facts and receipts and credentials and all this other stuff about who makes you qualified to say that and who made you qualified to know that. Who qualified you to be this? I'm going to tell you something. My own mother told me that. I was trying to save my mother's life, helping her with holistic treatments for her cancer. I seen cancer disintegrate my mother in front of my face. She dwindled down to a skeleton and died because she didn't respect the fact that I was trying to give her holistic methods and taking her out of the doctor's office. She told me, you're not a doctor. You don't have a doctorate degree. You can't tell me what he know. And this is my own mother. As intelligent and bright and brilliant as my mind is, my own mother who gave me my brilliance could not look me in my eyes and see the passion that I had for wanting her to be better. I invested in my mother's health care, all these other things. She did not respect it. She did not give me an opportunity to help her become better because she didn't respect me. She could be alive today if she had let me take care of her from what I knew to do. She could be. I would have given her a much better chance to live than her being souped up on all of those chemicals.
I just want to point something out based on what you said. Not to argue, but more just to try to attack something. And when you talk,
I can't hear you guys speak up. I can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yep.
No?
Mm-hmm.
Hear me now?
Yep.
It's like when we talk this talk, it's like, especially if you present it the first, first person presents something to somebody, you going against all the money that's been invested throughout the years of your mama.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What you believe in. These fucking commercials, year in, year out, this doctor, the PhD, what is a doctor? What does that mean? Harvard, all this shit, all that propaganda versus my baby.
Exactly. And this is the reason why I say, this is something that we struggle with. She said, we don't never ask white people all them damn questions about their qualifications and their this, that, or the other. We take them at face value. Whatever they say, if it ain't white, it ain't right. They're brainwashed. And I knew that about my mother. There was one thing that I struggled with in my coming up, like, being an adult. Me and my mother had a strained relationship because the brainwashing on her was just so deep. And I didn't recognize my mother anymore. When I was growing up, my mother was a revolutionary woman. When I was growing up, she wore black leather. My mother's name is Angela Davis. And my mother rocked an afro. My mother had an afro in her military picture. And that's how I remembered her. I remember her being Afrocentric and wearing big drapes of jewelry and, just afro, animal prints in our house. And we were very just Afrocentric. And I know it might have been a trend, but it was us. It was us. And that's how I identified. So when my mother started to get into this place where she was being brainwashed and everything was coming, to an end for her, I just didn't recognize her no more. She wasn't my mother. I was just like, she won't even listen to me. My mother created a brilliant person. And not just one, two. I have a brother that is just as bright as I am. He's stupid as hell, but this boy is bright. Um, and she doesn't recognize how she even did that. So the thing about it is that we have to recognize these things, our lack of self-worth and value within ourselves and to each other. The fact that we don't value each other lets me know that we don't value ourselves. It's a reflection. We're mirroring each other. I don't value you because you don't value me. You don't value me because you don't value yourself. I don't value you because I don't value myself. That's how it's working. There's no value in our minds to be exchanged with each other. And that's the reason why, again, that we're not in commerce. We're abandoned at sea, y'all. They have made us forget that we have value. They've made us unaware of the value. They've made us sell the value. We give it away for free. It's like the diamonds in Africa. Because it's so plentiful over there, they go over there and just take it up, and they come and bring it over to the rest of the world like it don't. And the Africans over there, like, I mean, all right, like, here y'all go, just take it. And then now they're just now waking up like we are to realize this is not how this is supposed to go. These people are benefiting from the things that they're taking from us, and we're not benefiting. Not only are they benefiting, but they're also exploiting us, abusing us at the same time. While we're just like, sure, you can take it. It's almost like Get Out, where we're doing for them physically willingly to do it, but mentally we don't understand why. Mentally we're like, no. You know, in that scene where she was just like, no. And she was trying to get it, like she's trying to get it out, like in her mind, her eyes. She didn't understand what was happening. Why she could not verbally say, I have value. She could not verbally say what was on her mind or verbally do anything other than what she had been programmed to do. She didn't get it herself.
That's spiritual shit. She was bound up on the inside.
Man, she was bound. And it just was brilliant the way she communicated that feeling on camera. To me, that's not easy to do. For you to be lost in your eyes, but you're still smiling and having a pleasant look. That's a very deep expression. It's a very deep expression to be able to capture without it actually being the case. And maybe she did go to a real place. Clearly she did, because it translated on film. But to me, that's exactly the position that a lot of us are in. We have no clue that we're in terror. We're living in terror and being abused every single day, but we're still physically going through this. We're all lashing out. We're all angry. We're all unhealthy. We're all lack of confidence, lack of self-worth. We're all in the slums, but we have no clue why we're still willing to go along with this. We just think that this is the way it has to be, the way it's supposed to be. I just can't go. I just can't leave. I just can't separate myself. I just can't do for myself. I have to be here on this plantation. I have to be here. I have to be at this job. How else will I eat if master don't give me a job? How else will I drive my Mercedes if master don't pay me 6 figures? How else will I if they don't? Fill in the blank.
It's a lot of niggas that are very uncomfortable with the idea of not getting along or making white people deal with it.
Yeah. We don't believe we can do it without them. They know they can't do it without us. Okay.
A lot of niggas don't enjoy disagreeing with white people.
Yeah.
Period. Just on a cellular level, you feel like you fucked up when you, oh no. Oh shit. You know, one of the things that that really fuck with me, that I hear grown ass black people say all the time of all ages. It's the phrase "get in trouble."
I agree with that.
Hate that shit.
I like getting in trouble because that means I'm not following somebody's rules. If I get in trouble, I'm doing something right. Thank you. In the upside down society, I need to be in trouble.
Get in trouble.
Listen, in the upside down society, if I'm not in trouble, I'm doing something wrong. And that's how I look at it.
Man, fuck. And that's the whole thing. How you getting in trouble with motherfuckers who presented themselves as your enemy from Jump Street?
Yep. I feel that there is a there's a way that we have to look at things relatively, because see, what we're trying to do in this society is we're trying to look at things from the Caucasian perspective. And I think that's what my friend Ray, when she said where our spirits are having knee-jerk reactions that we keep suppressing, we're not allowing ourselves to express what we truly feel, and it's causing us to have this this silence, where we're not able to lash out. We're not able to sort of go against what the white people think is right. Like people, like we always say, if it ain't white, it ain't right. That mentality is how we have been operating under this conditioned brainwashing. If it ain't white, it ain't right. If it ain't white, it ain't right. If it ain't white, it ain't right. We just keep on going back over that. So when they say, no, we can't, we're not going to put money into this, that, or the other, because we see it like,
We ain't got no money for your reparations.
right, we're not going to put no funding or anything into that because we're focused on this, or we can't do that because we're doing this, or this ain't going to be that because, and then we're like, oh, okay, I see it that way. Okay, we force ourselves to see it that way.
We ain't got no money for your reparations because we can't afford your reparations. We ain't got no money right now.
Okay.
We ain't got no money.
And we force ourselves, we force ourselves to see it that way, and to say, okay, well, because that lesser truth might be the case, and they'll show you, they'll be very goodwill with, I just wish I could, but I got this, that, and the other, I got that, and that, and then we sit back.
Yeah, hit your ass with some statistics too, so a chart.
Exactly.
Pretty, five colors on
baby,
that bitch.
and
It's illustrated. We already spent the
yeah,
money.
yeah.
The budget gone.
Yep. And this is what I know about us, is that we are so kind-hearted and wanting to be compassionate and wanting to be, obedient people of society. We don't want to be seen as the conspiracy theorists or the ones who go against the grain. And we say, okay, massa.
Right.
Okay, massa. We'll keep waiting. We'll keep marching. We'll keep protesting. We'll keep waiting until you want to do right by us, because we love you so much and we just want to see you happy. We want to see all your truths lived out in reality. We want to see you thrive. So we're just going to wait until you agree with us.
You said it ain't no money.
We just going to keep waiting until you agree with us.
Now, you know what? I almost didn't believe, but now that you know what? You're right. We ain't got no fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Look, I'm gonna be back. Cause you know I built all this.
Listen.
And we already talked about that. So I'm gonna be back, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and make some more money, because I know that's what you do up in this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna just be in the hood.
Yeah.
I'll be back though.
No money for, and then because the money is not for the country, the money is for the people who own the country. Because, like I said, the country is just a corporation. It's for the people who own it privately. The country is here for public use. They took our land and made it for public use. And I'm gonna tell you something. That is the only reason why they're able to live here and do what they do. We could be sending their ass back to goddamn Europe if we took control of our own land. If we organize ourselves into a corporate structure like they've done, if we organize ourselves into a corporate structure and tell them get the hell out, because this is our land and y'all came over here and stole it, and clearly this is what we are due. Oh, come on. They wouldn't have a single leg to stand on. We would literally be able to kick them out if we did that, because, like I said, these people are not here on some they're not here on some figment of the imagination. They're here on some trickster type stuff that they did, and they did leave a paper trail. They did. And so if we were to go and to follow that paper trail and to incorporate ourselves as a business, because that's all they've done. They incorporated this as a business and made our land for public use, saying, oh, well, these black people are out dead at sea, so come on, let's use their land for public use. We're going to put our corporations on their land, and we're going to do business on their land. Little known to them, they're the ones who are working on their own land as servants on their own land. We don't even understand on how the level of games that they play with us. The level of games that they play with us. Okay, and it's sad that we have to say that we're playing a game, because this is not a game. This is real life. This is our quality of life. Our every single day lived experience is because they have set up a corporation that has policies and rules and bylaws. And let me tell you something. This corporation, like I said, they have a president, they have a treasurer, they have a secretary. The secretary of state, who you think that is? Huh? The treasurer, who you think that is? The president, who you think that is? The president of the corporation. And just like they have a president of the corporation, they have policies like any other corporation. They have procedures like any other corporation. Guess who they get to enforce their policies? You know them as police officers. I know them as policy enforcers because that's what a police officer is. A police officer is a policy enforcer. They are the people who hold those little books. When they stop you at the damn thing, they open up that little book and they start reading, talking about which policy you violated. For the privately owned corporation, they got policies. And the policy enforcer says you violated a private policy on this public property. And now I have to enforce the rules which say that you have to pay because you're in contract every day. Like I said, we're in contract law every day with this privately owned corporation that's for the public use that you're choosing to use by contract. So you broke the law, and by contract, because you're holding that driver's license, that's your contract. You got to pay this fine. You're holding that driver's license, that's your contract. You got to pay this fine. This is what I mean. They play games, y'all. They play games with us, and we're none the wiser. We don't question anything. Nobody questions and says, how do the police have more of a right to lock me up than I have a right to lock somebody up? Because you went out and got dressed up and put on a damn blue suit. Somebody told you that you had a right to come out here and harass me. And now you think I'm about to sit back here and let you invade my privacy and my life like that because you just another nigga. You live, you know how many county police officers live in my apartment complex? If they didn't have on that suit, they would never overstep my goddamn boundaries like that. Never. But when you go and put on a blue suit, now all of a sudden you got all the rights to start harassing me and violating my personal space like that. No. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's a policy. And this is what I mean, y'all. The natural laws that we should be following, it says no man crosses my personal space. I don't care who you are. You have the right to protect your safety, to protect your life. You have a right to do that. Constitutional right. So anytime a police officer violates that, violates your privacy, searching your property, violating your person, touching your body, assaulting your body, there is no law that gives him the right to do that. There is no sanction, no certification. There is no training that gives him the right to do that. To even stop you out of traffic, there is no right. You don't have a right to stop me and take my time away from me, which I cannot get back. I haven't hurt anyone. It's a victim. What they do is they stop you for these policies, which are victimless crimes. The only reason the police officer would have the right to stop you is if you just did harm to someone or to someone's property. The U.S. Constitution is here to save your body and to protect your body and to protect your property, your person and your property. That's what you're here, and your assets. Property, assets, same thing. That's what the policies are here to, or the Constitution is here to protect. But again, we don't recognize that. The Constitution protects our body and it protects our things. But we don't realize that when the police come and they say, well, you violated this, that, and the other, but I'm protected under my rights. So if I knew to enforce them, I could say, sir, I'm not, and then you, of course, you have to go into using legalese, and you would have to tell him, I'm not in, because, like I said, hey, I'm talking. You wouldn't have to say, you would have to go, because again, they're operating off of knowledge that you don't know. When you get stopped, you pull out your driver's license. What you're doing is showing this person immediately that you are now in contract with the U.S. government. And they now have a right to enforce policies on that contract because you've contracted with this corporation, and that driver's license says I have a contract with these people, and you have a right to enforce that contract because they've hired you to do so on their part. Now, on my part, I'm the one who is agreeing to be ruled and governed, so to speak, for my safety. They issue you the license, and this is something that we have to know about society. They tell you that they're taking away your freedom to make you safe. You have a natural freedom to travel, okay? You have a natural freedom to travel in a vehicle. What you don't have the freedom to do is to drive in a car, because the difference between the two is commerce. The corporation says that drivers, like people who drive trucks, people who have commodities, people who are driving for their company, when you got a company vehicle, you're in commerce, you have to be licensed for that. You have to be licensed for that. But if you're just a regular person, you're trained to drive and you're safe on the road, and you know that you're not there to hurt anybody, you're not going to hurt anyone. Once you have the independent knowledge and ability to do so, you have a right to do it safely on your own. You don't need to go into a contract with the government to get a license from the government for your safety. You're conscious enough to know when you're able to get on the road, or when your children are safe enough to get on the road. You know that. You don't need, this is what we have to do to be sound enough, of sound mind, to be able to do for ourselves. If you put your vehicle in commerce and you have a license, okay, now you're under the policy of commerce. But if you put your vehicle in, or you put your vehicle in use to travel, you are no longer under any contract. You're in a vehicle that is your personal property that you've paid for. And again, we're responsible enough to pay off our debt. We're not getting loans. We're not paying notes. We have personal property that is privately owned. When there is no business that has a lien on your property, you own it. You can do with it what you want. You don't have to have a license. You don't have to register it, because it is yours. It's your property. So when you get stopped by that officer and he says, "Give me your license," he's saying, "Give me your contract." You signed it. Your signature is on your license. It's a contract saying, "I'm going to keep you safe by taking away your freedom." Because when I'm keeping you safe, I'm telling you, you can't drive while touching your phone. You cannot change lanes without putting a signal on. You cannot blah, blah, blah. These are all the policies that are being enforced. And if I catch you doing any of this, because you got that contract, if I catch you doing any of this, your ass is mine. But the Constitution says that you can do whatever you want. You ain't got to put on no signal. You don't have to refrain from touching your phone. You don't have to do all this stuff. You have to be safe. But you don't have to do all that as long as you're being safe. If you can do that and be safe at the same time, you can do what you want. You don't have to have the intermediary in there unnecessarily telling you how to keep yourself safe. You know how to keep yourself safe. You go out into the streets in the world every day keeping your damn self safe. You don't need somebody else to tell you how to do that. You could make your own training class to train your family how to drive. Put your privately owned vehicle into traveling, not in commerce driving. There's a difference, and under the law, there's a difference between driving and traveling. So again, if we don't go down these rabbit holes, these are things we'll never know. These are things we'll never be able to enforce, because mentally we don't have the ability to enforce knowledge that we have never obtained. Because they know if you want to hide something from a nigga, you put it in a book. Or you tell it to his homeboy that's hating on him, because the homeboy ain't gonna tell him.
If you quit thinking that when you come into contact,
Speak up. Speak up.
hear me now.
Yeah.
If you quit thinking that you are,
Shelly, you making too much noise.
when you deal with these people, when you deal with these beings, you'll be in a lot better situation.
Mm-hmm.
But you about to talk your way out or beg your way out, all this fucking shit. Cut that shit.
Yeah.
The fear.
Yeah.
Fear.
Yep.
If you
Fear
gonna
alone.
die today, goddamn it, you gonna die today. Fuck fear.
And that's what they operate on, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna use the same example how this is how these people operate on us, out of fear. because the collective, they'll come to the whole collective of society and say, it's not safe for you guys to drive without y'all having a license. So we're going to create a training program that teaches people how to drive on a system that we've created, and we're going to sell it to you guys. You could very easily have taught your, like I said, taught your own people how to drive safely according to a set of rules. They could have taught everybody the system that they set up, how to drive, and then we could all self-teach ourselves how to drive and make sure, like I said, the only one rule that should be enforced is that you don't have to deal with a police officer unless you have done something unsafe to harm another person. To me, any other law that is set to control you or to make you safe or whatever, it is absolutely unnecessary. And we should not be subjecting ourselves to these types of tyrants because it's like control freaks. I'm going to continuously suck away your freedom from you and put you in fear of being hurt. I'm putting you in fear of dying, so I'm selling you pills and this healthcare system or this regimen or these products to keep you healthy. I'm making you afraid that you'll be God, I can't even go through the whole list, but we get sold things through our entertainment. We get sold things to make us feel beautiful. We get sold things to make us feel safe. We get sold things to make us feel powerful. We get sold things on every turn of the way because they want to have us feel some kind of way. I'm about to pop you. Oh, you better get the book. Go back in your room, boy.
One thing for sure, sir, it used to be once upon a time that in fear of us, not a long, like extended amount of time, but there was like a general notion that fucking with black people get you fucked up.
Shit, now with white people, they don't care. They don't care.
There was a nice little general notion amongst general white people. I ain't talking about necessarily police. But there was a healthy fear in the public of white people, especially in the 90s. It was very noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
They used to even talk about, if a nigga come down the street, I'm across the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I'm laughing because my girlfriend on here laughing at me because I'm here hollering at this baby.
Look,
I'm sorry.
You got to do, hey, Mother Nature.
I mean, y'all seen him bounce around here like Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay.
Mother Nature. I knew it was coming. I just,
I'm like, boy.
Of course. I knew it. He was, poking his head up there, over there.
He all. Like, boy.
Hey, you know they superstars.
Yes.
But one thing I want to say that would be important is that they should have a healthy fucking fear of getting fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
They should have a healthy fear of it's not safe for you to come around this motherfucker.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that.
You will come up loud.
Yeah.
And the thing is, back in like I say, back in the 90s, your ass just come up missing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You seen that nigga? No, I ain't seen that nigga. Hell no.
Mm-mm.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna tell you this.
What happened to officer motherfucker? I don't know. I ain't seen officer motherfucker in a long time. I don't know what to tell you.
I think that is natural, because Mother Nature is, she's a powerful protector and she's a powerful predator as well. All throughout nature, you see instances of power and predatory type of behavior in nature. I mean, animals are predators and prey. And, we have to start recognizing that every prey can also be its own predator in its own way. And so the only thing about them, though, is that their ability to be the predator is nothing compared to our ability to be the predator. They have been benefiting from the fact that we have not been in predator mode. But now that we've been threatened as prey, it's only natural for us to go into predator mode and to beat them at the game of being the predator, because who's going to be the fucking prey? I'm not about to be the prey if I know. How would I look being a boa constrictor letting a mouse beat my ass? I mean, how do I look? I mean, I'm about to boss up on you. Wait a minute. You're not about to kill me. I'm going to kill you.
Say that they exist more in a because they are genetically nothing.
Right.
So it's more or less they exist solely because of us. Like they need to be able to feed off of
Precisely.
our. So their predatory behavior is
Yeah.
only as strong as, like you said, our
Silence.
allow.
Inaction.
You know what I'm saying? Coronavirus is only as strong as the last time you decide to wash your fucking hands. You know.
Once again, I'm gonna keep you safe. I'm gonna put all these things, but I swear I want us to still take note of how quickly things change with the coronavirus. Okay. They're talking about we want to keep you safe, so we're taking all these extra measures and precautions. If you wanted to keep black people safe, you could have overnight put trillions of dollars into the economy. You could have overnight made corporations and all this other stuff change their tune. You could have done all these things that you did. We got stickers on the floor now. We got contactless companies. We got money being funded. We got donation funds. We've got all these different policies being changed. We're defunding the police now. We're taking medical precautions and changing the medical industry, going into insurance policies. We're stopping people from paying rent. We're stopping people from living, going to work, from doing things that they love, recreation, entertainment, sports. Everything stops because they want us to be safe. Now, if you really wanted us to be safe, why the hell didn't you do that way back when? We ain't been safe for a while. Y'all know the coronavirus ain't the only thing that ain't safe out here. It's just, seriously. They pick and choose what they want to have time for according to their own benefit. They create these things and then they benefit off of them. Every time they put out a new movement, they getting paid. Every new movement they have, they get paid. All these donations, all of these products they get put out, all of these different, businesses that sprout up out of nowhere, they profiting off of these things out of the fair. Keep you scared so that you'll buy up some stuff to keep you safe. If you're scared, here, buy this, it'll keep you safe. You scared? Here, buy that, it'll keep you safe. You scared? Buy that, it'll keep you safe. Come on now. We got to do better than that. We got to do better than that. It's ridiculous. Just want to buy safety when it never went nowhere. Exactly. My friend Ray said it's the agendas, and that's exactly what it is. They have agendas, and they push those agendas by having these events. Okay, I'm just gonna call them social events. Okay, we want to change gun laws. Oh yeah, shoot up some people real quick so we can make the argument about gun laws. If nobody's getting shot, we can't make the point. If ain't nobody getting shot up nowhere, we can't make the point that we need to, take all of the guns off the street and disarm the communities, disarm the people. If I don't shoot some people first, okay, how can I sell you healthcare if I haven't made you sick first? What am I gonna do with all these products? I can listen. You can go and look at statistics. You can see these things happening in front of your face if you're aware. Listen, y'all. There was a spike in people. Like I would hear people telling me they had somebody they know got colon cancer. Like just out of nowhere, I just started hearing a lot of people talking about they got colon cancer, or somebody else is got colon cancer. It just started coming up out of nowhere. Colon cancer. So then I come to find out, I wasn't even looking. I just found out that a new product had entered the market on the pharmaceutical scene for colon cancer. None other than colon cancer. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm looking like, I wonder if I go and look how many different spikes in cases coincide with the production of a product. Just like you see with the coronavirus. You see a spike in cases whenever you see people being tested. If you're being tested, okay, there's a spike in the cases because now we got these tests. This is where we need to have more people that say, well, these people are going to the doctors. Okay, those are the cases. That's where the cases are right there. I mean, come on. We can't be so dense, y'all, that we're not catching on to these things. They create a product, and then now all of a sudden they say, okay, doctors, hey, y'all, we the pharmaceutical company. Pharmaceutical company on the phone. Somebody pick up. Hey, hello? Hello. Yeah, we just made this new product. Can y'all start diagnosing people with this stuff so y'all can use this product on them? All right, cool. What's the product called? It's called what? What? Okay. All right, cool. All right, well, hey, doctors, this the new product. Y'all go ahead and start start producing. I mean, start diagnosing people, and then there we go. There we go. Now everybody got colon cancer. Now everybody got heart disease. Now everybody got this or that. Now everybody got this. Because there's a need for, there has to be a demand for the supply that they have. They created a supply. They created a new product. They just in the lab tossing all kind of shit together. They just in there just tossing here. Throw that in there. Throw a little bit of that in there. And sprinkle some of that in there. Sprinkle a little bit of that in there. See what that do. It do something? Okay. And now let's go sell it. I mean, they come out with a medicine for everything. Do you have excessive laughing? Are you tired of that? Do you burst out laughing at random moments when things are funny? We have a pill for that. I mean, come on, what the fuck? I mean, are you bipolar? We have a pill for that. Okay? Are you depressed? We have a pill for that. You got high blood pressure? We got a pill for that. They got a pill for everything. It's a pill for every damn thing. We can't keep on doing that. Whatever supply they have, they want to get it. They need a demand for it. So here we go. Here we go. And then that's the way we carry on about society. They rig us up to where we have to where we have to depend on them for the things that they've created. I mean, they've created all these things, and then they tell us that we need it. Don't you know that that's the whole basis for the whole field of marketing? The whole field of marketing is a product was created. Now you have to figure out a way to tell people that they need this particular product. You have to let them know that they need it. Because if you don't tell them what this thing does and how it works and what it does, you know, how it's going to make their life easier or whatever, then they won't know that they need it. And they won't give you their money, and they won't think that they have to continuously have this stuff. If you were never aware of this, would you know that you needed it? Would you know that you had to have it? Would you know that it made your life any easier? These are things we have to start assessing. They're giving us things that we...
Chicken in 2019.
Huh?
We have for you. Call this number.
Oh, yeah, we got everything you need. Caucasians, and you know they study us. You ever seen I know you've seen that video, How to Sell to a Black Person? How to Sell to a Negro?
Oh, yeah, I was one of the original distributors of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, How to Sell to a Negro. You sit there and they study us. They know everything we like. They know we like luxury. They know we like to be dripped in gold. They know we like to have the best of the best, the finest of the fine, heavy fabrics and heavy stitching and vibrant colors and fine chinas and all. They know we love it. They know we love it. Even if they're gonna give us a piece of plastic, that just got a metallic plastic sheet of silver on it or sheet of something on, they're gonna say it's gold. That ain't nothing but a piece of plastic. But we're gonna go and spend money on it because we need to be laced, baby. We need to be fly. We got to be laid. They're gonna sell us every product, and they're not just gonna sell us one product for one thing. And, okay, I need my edges laid. I got to have 100 different edge laying products. And I personally own about 5 of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why do we have to do that?
In the standard, even that standard was first laid on that plantation. They had a nigga that they would have if they, the house niggas. They, dressed in the nice hand-me-down straight from the massa.
Boy, what?
Clean buckle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your lapel look clean, look like a fresh flower.
Y'all, we get ready to time out again. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it on up. I love you guys. Oh my god, I love doing this. I'm gonna be hosting something as a moderator over with my partner, my friend, the Black Equity Network. You all go and check him out. He's doing some really major things. I mean, this guy is like really powerful. I'm honored to even be associated with this guy. He rubs elbows with elite people. I mean, people who I respect. I'm gonna put it like that. People who I respect. I don't know if I would call them elite or whatever the title they want to call themselves, but anyway, I'm gonna be doing some stuff, some work with him, and you guys will be seeing some continued projects coming from me. I've told you about the app I'm developing because I talk very heavily about our organizational structure. I believe in it, and that's something I'm working to offer the Black community. I'm working on giving us that organizational structure that we need so that we can start building on something, and that's going to be in the form of technology. I'm going to do that by applying the tools systematically by using technology. So I will be introducing those things to you guys within the next few months. You'll start to see it. The app is already in development. It's already, it's already going. I'm getting ready to start seeking investors. I'll be soliciting for startup money for people. So if you want to get involved, just stay tuned because it's going to be coming. As sure as you can see me sitting right here, you're going to see it. Okay. All right, I love you guys. I'm timing out. This episode will be up for reference on Spotify. It'll be streaming, Google, Spotify, Apple, whatever you use. Also YouTube. You'll see the images from Facebook will go up on YouTube. So I love you guys. Peace and blessings, y'all. Please, each one teach one.